What up? What up? What up? Welcome back to another edition of the Bad Podcast. Brad and Dawain, and here with my brother Brad. And man, Brad, before we get into what we're talking about, man, how cold is it where you are?
It's colder here than the North Pole, man. So I got to travel
Sheesh.
north to get a little warmer. It is 20 below zero here, and just yeah, man, I'm mind blown right now. 20 below with the wind chill. I'm cold, but I'm trying to keep it hot.
Hey man, we always keep it hot, man. What we talking about today, brother?
Man, we're talking about genetics and epigenetics, but the quote that I have today, fresh out of the book, page number 22, this aspect of preparation is essential and must be viewed as non-negotiable. To achieve success, you must surround yourself with individuals who uplift and support you rather than hold you back. Do not allow the weight of negativity to obstruct your path to realizing your dreams. Let's talk about dreams. Let's talk about epigenetics. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
What it look like, what it be like, what it do back in here. Another edition of the Bad Podcast. Brad and Wayne bringing it to you on another Monday morning. Whenever you're checking this out, whether it's on YouTube or on your podcast catcher, we're back there if you're wondering. Man, Brad, we have a new audience, man. I posted in the E2M Premium motivation group. You know,
Nice.
that's a new thing we have. If you're a part of E2M Premium, we have a brand new E2M Premium motivation group, and this group is just full of premium members. So posted in there this week, and because it's a brand new group, I was able to hit the at everyone
Oh.
tag, and yeah, man. So we got a lot of new folks that just discovered the Bad Podcast, man. So we want to say to you guys, welcome to your favorite Monday morning. The best thing to go with your coffee is a Bad Podcast episode, man. So we're gonna jump right in, man. Shout out to y'all. Make sure you let us know. Hey, you found us through premium, or put it in the comments. I'll make sure to turn the comments back on. But make sure you let us know that you check this out, man, Brad. So let's get into it, man.
Yeah. So we mentioned right off the get go about epigenetics and genetics, and I've been reading some studies about epigenetics and what it essentially does. But we've all heard this concept of, well, it's hereditary. I have high blood pressure because it's in my bloodline. I have heart disease because it's in my bloodline. And the thing is genetics are something that you're born with, and you can't necessarily alter your genetics. But epigenetics is, I'm going to read a definition of what epigenetics is. It's the study of how environmental factors and behaviors can change your gene expression without actually altering the DNA sequence. So what that means, Dawain, is essentially altering your environment, changing the friends in your life, changing, convincing your family to get on board with what you're doing in your next adventure. Changing your behaviors, changing your habits, changing your routines. All right. And like I said, we've all heard, well, it's hereditary. I can't outlast high blood pressure. I can't beat heart disease, all those things. But the thing is, are you doing anything different from your pastime? Are you doing anything different from your parents? If you're not, you're going to be a direct carbon copy of what your parents were. If you're putting the same thing, if you're consuming the same things your parents are, you're going to be a carbon copy of what they were. So if you want to change, if you want to have some sort of different outcome, if you want to try to combat heart disease, blood pressure, all those things, high cholesterol, you have to um, you have to engage in different behaviors, different routines, put different things in your bodies. I mentioned it off screen, Dwayne. I'm doing something right now called the liver rescue. I'm doing a liver cleanse by the medical medium. This is something that I've never done before in my life, right? Heart disease does low key run in my family, but I'm eating different things than my grandfather was. I'm eating different things than my father was. I'm putting different things into my body, different things into my mind that my parents were and my grandparents were. And that's the reason is because not necessarily I don't want to look like them. I don't want to be like them. I want to combat heart disease. I want to combat anything that they have had in their lives that I don't want to deal with. Cholesterol, high blood pressure, heart
Yep.
disease, all those
Yep.
things. I want to combat all those things.
Yeah, no, I love that. I agree with that. It's funny. I just had my annual physical, And the question they always ask, is high blood pressure in your family? Is diabetes in your family? And when they ask that question, because here's a this is gonna surprise some people. Some people know it because it's common sense, but diabetes isn't a disease you can transfer through your bloodline. It's not, heart disease isn't a disease you can transfer through your bloodline. The reason why they ask, and if someone in your family, because like you said, you do the exact same thing. If you eat what they eat, you can have the exact same results. It's not like if they have it and then you eat better, it's going to better your chances. Of course, there's some genetic things that are involved that may predispose people to it, to be more susceptible to it, but it's not an end all be all. It's not like some ailments or some diseases are actually transferred and you're born with that thing. Your decisions you make, being willing to do different than your family, that I mean, it goes right along with what you said, man. And it helps you in a way where you don't have to settle for what happened to your parents, or you don't have to settle for and that's part of my motivation for getting healthy. I remember, I tell the story all the time. I remember my parents turned 40 years old. I remember when they brought the wheelchairs and all of that stuff in. I remember that, and I I was like, yo, I don't want to be like that when I turn 40, man. So, those are some things that, you can decide, like we're going to talk about it more, but you can redirect the path of your health.
Hmm. And even just like personally too, because through your late teens and your early 20s, you make a lot of decisions that aren't necessarily the best decisions for you. And I'll use myself and as an example, and I talk about this in depth in my book. But I went through a period, I call it the dark ages, man, where I was turning to the bottle, I was eating fast food, I was turning to pizza all the time. I was making those decisions, not with my health in mind, but how I felt in the moment at the time. And that's what a lot of us do is we make decisions on how we feel right here,
Right.
how we feel right now. And to touch on diabetes, did you know that there is a type 3 diabetes?
I did not.
I was just enlightened the other day. There's a type 3 diabetes that they're still kind of testing this out. But what type 3 diabetes is it's diabetes through manufactured sugar, man-made sugar, and it's the dyes that we put in our body. It's the high fructose corn syrup that we put in our body. It's all these things
Hmm.
that we put in our body that are manufactured in a factory somewhere by some guy's hands in a machine. We're putting that in our body, and it's creating a new type of diabetes. So we're trying to combat sugar.
Hmm.
So we turn to this lower sugar option, or this diet option, or this fat free option, without looking at the back and looking at the ingredients, and we're pumping our body full of this crap. And now type 3 diabetes is a thing. And I know that's not like really where we're going with the conversation today, but I think it all ties in, man. Like, you know, we make so many decisions on marketing, right? We
Hmm.
talked about this just the other day. I'll look at something that The Rock puts out there. Zoa Energy, his Terramana tequila, the Rock shoes, anything the Rock says, "Hey, I wear these." I'm more susceptible to go get that.
For
I
sure.
wear these, I drink these, so on and so forth. But again, you have to come back to base and back to the foundation of what's best for you. Look at the bottom, look at the back of the bottle, look at the back of the box, and say, I don't know what that is. 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 Do your research. If you don't know what
Hmm.
those chemicals are on the back of the box or the back of the bottle, do your research. And if it's not something that the body needs, your body you probably shouldn't consume that, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
This
Exactly.
this liver cleanse has been like enlightening for me, and it's been a kind of a refresher. I've been pushing back every step of the way with my wife because I'm doing this for her. She really wanted to do it, and I me, I like a challenge. Um,
Hmm.
but I've been pushing back, but I'm learning about some of these different things, like no fats before
Oh, the your
what it does for
internet
your
must be
liver.
froze too.
Golly.
No fast before
Let
what?
me know when
I
I'm
want you
back.
to finish that.
No fats before noon. Um,
Mm.
and without going into depth, what it does is um, I don't even want to say the wrong thing, but it's in this book, and I'm going to do my research because the next time I get on this pod, I'm going to drop a nugget. But it says no fats before noon because of what it does to your liver. Drinking lemon water, trying out celery juice, all these different things. Limiting your animal protein, which is something that I'm really struggling with because that's what I live on, man. I
Right.
live on the chicken, the turkey, the beef, like all those things. That's what I grew up on. You talk about
For sure.
hereditary, you talk about genes and all that stuff. Like that's what I grew up on. So I'm a real struggle bus right now, trying to figure out what I can eat and what I can consume right now. But just trying to find ways to alter my behaviors and alter my routines to better suit myself in the long run here. So it's an adventure right now.
Definitely adventure. I think my words were different. Like it's
Yeah, different. Yes, very different. Hmm.
it's a big difference. No, that's cool, man. Speaking of, turning, product around and reading the labels, man, there's one place where you can understand every single thing that's on the back, and that is E2M Kitchen, man. So
Boom.
yeah, if you turn an E2M Kitchen pack over, you can understand every single thing that's back there. It's all natural, gluten free. Make sure you check it out. I think they're running a special. Right? What's
Hmm.
that special, man? Hold on, I want to get that right.
I don't know the code, but it's the bulk. It's the bulk meats. It's the bulk the vegetables. It's the bulk carbs, man. And this is my favorite because if you get one of those containers of chicken, that's not just one meal. You can break that down into 2 or 3 meals, and that's what I do, man. I take one of those bulk chickens. I cut that sucker up into 3 different portions, and you want to talk about making your money last a lot longer. Your butt go a lot further. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, the bulk meals are clutch. I mean, because everybody that doesn't do E2M that listens to this podcast. Even when I was in bodybuilding prep, I couldn't do the actual meals
Mm.
because of the fat content level, which it isn't a bad thing for those people waiting to jump on. What it is, and Andreas explained it. They use a lot of different natural oils because they don't use preservatives, so they use the oils to kind of off balance
Hmm.
and make sure that it's flavorful when you get to it. But that on a macro counter, caused my macros to go up, and that's why I didn't use them. But
Hmm.
when you order the bulk,
Hmm.
when you order a stash of chicken or a stack of cauliflower rice or whatever, you have the actual meat. Then you can, like I said, create several different meals using the bulk. And so the code is 4 week 20. So the number 4 week and 20. I'm gonna see if I can throw it on the banner real quick for
Hmm.
you guys.
Hmm.
So make sure you use this code if you're brand new to E2M Kitchen. If you put in the code for the number 4 week 20, there it is. If you put that in on your way of checking out, if you're a brand new customer, you get 20% off of that first box. So
Hmm.
that's how you really love it. All right, man. Let's look. That was our commercial break, man. So
Hey, I
let's
want
keep
to I
talking.
want to jump in here and pry in a little bit. So I'm somebody that eats a very low gluten, if any gluten in my diet, and it's not something that I intentionally do. It's just the foods that I consume are very low in gluten. It's vegetables, it's proteins. If I'm doing carbohydrates, it's low or no gluten carbohydrates. But so I'm doing an experiment right now, and I'm training for the Cincinnati Flying Pig Marathon. And I'm doing a series every other week. I'm doing a different style of diet. Right now, I'm doing a 9-day liver cleanse. All right, so this is the 9-day. It's not a 7-day, but it's a 9-day. But I did gluten a handful of weeks ago, right? And you want to talk about some of the side effects? Uh, Diarrhea,
Mm,
bloating, skin rashes. There's so many ties to negative outcomes and negative side effects from gluten that people don't even realize. It's just like dairy. Is dairy the worst thing in the world for you? No, not necessarily if you're eating it in moderation. But we consume dairy like it's one of the food group, like it's one of the main food groups. And
mhm.
and when we consume dairy, and all of a sudden we have that bloat or we have those stomach issues, cramping, headaches, all those things that come along with dairy and gluten. And things along that nature. We don't even realize it's that old concept. You don't know what you don't know, and once you cut
Mm-hmm.
that out of your diet, you're gonna feel so much better. And we're all over the map today. But the reason that I bring that up is because again, I grew up in a family that we lived on dairy. We lived on gluten, high gluten foods, a lot of pastas, a lot of cheeses, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the 80s and 90s diet. Like that's what we rocked, and and
Mm-hmm.
and and no shade at my parents, because that was the norm, man. Like everybody
Yep.
was eating pasta, everybody was eating a bunch of cheeses. And now, with deep diving some of these books and educating myself, I'm starting to realize, okay, that's why I had that headache. That's why I couldn't run very well that day. That's why I felt so much inflammation in my joints and my knees, like in my back. But once you can eliminate those things, or at least limit them, I'm not even saying
Mm-hmm.
eliminate, just limit those things, limit your gluten, limit your dairy, and you're going to feel so much better.
For sure, man. Yeah, that's so true, and that's why a lot of people when they come into E2M and we pretty much structure a clean diet like that, and they talk about uh, not having headaches and different inflammation and things like that that comes with changing those habits, man. So that's super cool.
Hey,
All
and,
right,
and
man. So
and
go
real
ahead.
quick, yeah, real quick though. But you talk about headaches though, right? So you have to also understand you may experience some sort of detox headache, right?
Oh, for sure. Week one.
Day one of this liver cleanse. Like my wife
Oh,
lives
really?
on coffee. She lives on coffee, and you can't have coffee. I'm drinking decaffeinated coffee over here, and coffee is a staple in my household. It's a
I'm
staple. We
sure.
we drink a pot, no problem. And boom, gone. And we've had to eliminate coffee just for these 9 days. And so she had a massive headache on day one,
Mm,
and it subsided on day two. But sometimes you got to fight, and sometimes you got to have that expectation that it's going to be harder before it's going to be
mm,
easier. You're going to have to
right,
fight for a little bit before you get to that promised land. And I
right.
think a lot of people don't have that expectation. You just see what could be. Like you have this idea in your mind, like I'm going to be presented a trophy, I'm going to feel good, I'm going to win. We forget sometimes that this wasn't designed to be easy. It wasn't designed for the masses. It's designed for everybody, but it's going to take some fighting, and it's going to take some resilience.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's 100% true.
100% true.
For sure, for sure. So, hey, man, you wanna I know you kind of mentioned the genetic thing. I don't know if you
Mhm.
wanna anything you want to touch more on that with or
No, I mean, when it comes to genetics versus epigenetics, genetics is that stuff that you're born with. You can't outrun that. But the epigenetics portion or component to this is just changing your behaviors, just like we talked about today, changing your environment, and sometimes that environment, um, you know. I want you to think, everybody that's listening to this, I want you to think about the people that you have in your immediate circle. I call it your insulation, the people that surround you, the people that keep you warm, or the people that don't keep you warm. Are they supporters? Are they cheerleaders? Or are they weight that needs to be cut free? And same thing with your behaviors and your routines. What kind of decisions are you making? What kind of actions are you taking? And do an inventory. When you're watching this on a Monday, do an inventory. Get real intentional with this and do an inventory. What decisions are you making? Are you going to the local donut shop and getting donuts before work? That's probably a bad behavior. That's probably a bad routine. Let's try to limit that or eliminate that over time. Are you loading up with dairy in your coffee? Are you loading up with sugar in your coffee? Are you eating a bunch of foods that's manufactured in a building somewhere? You got to start being intentional with the decisions and the actions that you take, and that's just all ties into this epigenetic idea where change your environment if you want to change your life, change your behaviors if you want to change your life.
absolutely. Man, so good. And then, and it is possible. We wouldn't be
Always.
talking about it, if you because some people feel like they don't have that option.
Hmm.
Like you mentioned, this is for everybody. It's just a matter of dialing in and clicking in. So
Yeah, and D, I know I keep on cutting in here, but I
you're
I
fine.
yeah, I just saw this post on social media the other day. They said, "Why is it so expensive to buy healthy food?" folks, when you break it down, and you buy in bulk, right? You buy a big bag of lettuce or a big box of lettuce or a big bag of frozen vegetables, or you buy chicken in the bulk or whatever, and you meal prep. If you actually portion out what the dollar per meal is, it's actually not that much. And if you're talking about E2M Kitchen meals, it's $12 a meal. It's
Mm-hmm.
$12 a meal. That's with shipping. That's with you pushing the button and it's on your doorstep for $12. Link and I to go to Starbucks and spend $12, and that's something right now we've cut out for of our diet. So right there, my wife and I are saving $16 a day just by
Wow.
cutting out Starbucks. $16 a day. Now you think about that, that's for coffee alone. $12 for a whole meal. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not that expensive. And I also saw this other thing. It's like, you think that's expensive? Try a medical bill. Try paying your insurance and seeing that
Mm.
insurance rate go up because you're unhealthy, or you need to go and have a checkup because your ticker's not ticking. So if you view food, your fuel, the things that you need for your body for a healthy life, for longevity, if you view that as expensive, I just want you to take a step back and ask yourself, what's a medical bill going to cost? What's it going to cost? What's it going to cost when you go into a casket? When you go into 6 feet under? What's it going to cost your
Mm.
family? And that cost is a whole lot more of a burden than going to the grocery store and really investing in your health and your nutrition.
Boom. That's the ending
Oh,
right there.
that's how we do.
That's the ending right there, man. No, that's so good. You good? You need a
Yes,
need you?
sir. I'm
You need it?
good, man. I
Okay.
sniffed
All
it
right.
again, but no, I'm good. No. Hey,
Well,
talk about the snow, man. You were talking about environment. You got snow down south. Come on,
it's a
welcome.
little bit of snow, man. A little bit of snow when we're recording. Monday, it won't be here. By the time this drop, this snow will not be.
It must be nice. Mine will be here for another 4 months,
That
unless we
is
had some kind
ridiculous.
of break in the weather.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is almost gone already. So good stuff, brother.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, man. Well, if you good, I'm good. We
Yes,
can close
sir.
this out, man. Make sure you guys leave a comment, share, leave a review, let people know about the Bad Podcast, your favorite podcast on Monday. The best thing that goes right there with that black coffee. If you're drinking coffee, if you're detoxing like Brad, whatever the
Decaf.
decaf action, or your tea or whatever it is, man. But until next time, man, we're out of here. Yep.
Boom. I got to do my research on this